Good morning. Thank you for waking up early in the morning. They call me Bash Bukhari because every time I landed a plane, I used to bash it on the floor. But my name is Sayyid Bashar al-Bukhari Bashir. I'm from Pakistan. I've been living in Spain for the last 24 years. When I was young, my father told me, son, get a good degree, find a good job, and live happily ever after. I did aeronautical engineering, joined Air Force as an officer, worked for the government later, came to Spain, joined in airline business, and at that point, after somebody told me there was a financial crisis and the airline went bankrupt. At 48 years of age, I lost my job for the third time, and I was hired by the biggest company in any country, which is called the government, unemployment. I went back to work in operations of Madrid Airport, and 3 years ago I was invited by a friend to see a business opportunity meeting, which you're going to see today. We are going to tell you how it happened. Now, in that meeting, there were only 4 people. My friend said, Bash, I'm starting a new project. I would like you to come and give me your opinion. I went to the business opportunity meeting. It was an extraordinary meeting. I knew I could find and identify myself with it, but I did not know how I would do it. But there was something else. The person who was doing the meeting, she was too good. Once the meeting finished, my friend asked me, Bash, what did you like best? I said, is she married? When my friend said she's not married, I said, I'll keep the 2 opportunities. I kept ACN and medium. Now, I'm a very Pakistani man. I have the last word in my house. I always say, yes, darling. So, now, of course, I did not know how to do the business. Medium goes, she says, we have to go for an international training to Nice. That was in June 3 years ago. Of course, you know what I said. Yes, darling. And we went to Nice, and that's where I was right on the top, a new, fresh, the first time one, right on the top. And I saw, and there's something which I'll be talking later, is identification. I saw Mats. He says, I'm an army officer. I saw Jonas rep. He said, I'm an army officer. I said, the Air Force has got to be there. I saw Alex Alexander, and he said, I'm Scottish. And I used to work in Air Force also. I said, good, I've got a friend of mine who worked in Air Force, so I'm going to join him. So this is how I decided I was going to be here. Now it's been 3 years, and thanks to whole of the Spanish team and fantastic people that we have, that we are here. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my boys because they gave me such an extraordinary surprise yesterday that I was not expecting for my parade. I lost my words. Especially to my 8 stooges, they know who they are. The 8, I call them the 8 commandos. They keep around me and do everything, and this time they took me for a surprise. I didn't know what they were doing. I always know what they're doing, but this time I don't know. I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Miriam de la Sierra. I'm from Spain, and I don't know how to tell you today how excited. I slept with my ring last night. it was like a dream. I started in ACN 4 years and a couple months ago. And a friend of mine called me from Italy and said, Miriam, I have something fantastic for you. And I said, at that time, I was having my own business for 29 years. And things were not doing too hot. As bashes, sometimes you gain and sometimes you learn. I was learning to say I was not losing anything, right? So at that time, my friend said, well, Miriam, come and look at an opportunity. I said, I don't have any money. I don't have any time. I have zero interest. But my friend was very seducing. So 3 months later, he calls me up and says, Miriam, I'll invite you to spend a weekend in Nice. I said, wow, I'll go to Nice. So I went there and I saw this opportunity. And when I saw the people up here talking about ACN and I saw Françoise, I said, wow, I want to be like her. I want to be here. So when I saw that, I said, this is what I was looking for. Because I had the style of life I wanted, but I had zero quality of life. I was working all the time, and nobody helps you when you have your own business. So really, when I saw this, I thought, I can do it. So we're going to explain today how we do our presentations. And we're going to talk about on how to do an effective presentation. I'm sure lots of you are going to think, well, we're going to take notes of what are the words we need to say. Well, let me say one thing. There's two things about a presentation. One thing is the words, but I'm going to talk about the feeling. I'm going to talk about how people are going to feel when we talk about this, because the business has nothing to do with words. It has to do with our heart. So we're going to talk today on how you can transmit what you have inside, how you can share with people the best opportunity in the world, ACN, because we have it inside and we need to share it. So we're going to start talking about that. We're going to talk about how we're going to share what we have in our heart.
Now, you see, we have different ways of providing a business opportunity meeting. You can do it with a PBR, you can have a one-to-one interview, or you have a BOM. In any circumstances, one of the important things you have to know, and that's a general rule in life, that you should be on time. So be punctual. Now, there are different type of people who are attending the meetings. One of them is the speaker. Speaker should take at least 30 minutes, and he should be in the room, because he's got to check the room, the temperature, the equipment, the presentation, because he should know what exactly is going on. Then at the same time, you are inviting your guests. You should be the first one to be there, because when your guest comes, he's not lost. He goes, I'm looking for, and suddenly no one is there to receive him. It is indecent if you have a guest and you are not there. Then when you have the guest, you take him to the speaker, because you got to edify the speaker. You go and you say, Mr. Jones is an extraordinary businessman, and he's going to do the presentation today. And you also give a little bit of testimony of this guy. Like you say, he was in the airline pilot, or he was what? Because people have edified me as an airline pilot, and now we have got an organization from Iberia pilots and Lufthansa pilots. Now people have introduced Miriam as the business woman, and there are people who've gone. So you got to edify the people, and then you got to edify the leaders. Because you never know who's your guest. Your guest might be a leader extraordinary, and he identifies with somebody else, because we at our home do not have enough importance. People who know us, they don't trust us that much sometimes. So it's better to be outside and let the other person do the thing.
Okay, what are the key points? A lot of people, what I was saying is they think they have to know everything. Let me tell you one thing. There's one fantastic thing. We have now a co-founder, Tony Kupich, that during this last month has learned several languages, okay? So he knows now how to speak in French and in all kinds of languages, Spanish, all that. So he can give the words. We need to give the identification. So the first thing we do is we need to have faith in what we're doing. We need to believe it, because if we really don't believe what we're doing, we won't be able to share it. We're selling dreams. We're not selling a product. We're telling people how we can change their lives. So you gotta have faith in what you're doing. Also, you need to be professional. You need to be prepared. But you need to be excited. But don't oversell. I see some people that are talking about the business areas. Wow! So people don't believe them. They need to be excited, but a natural excitement. But the key point is one. Let me talk a little bit about this. The key point is the me too's. Before you do any presentation, you need to have the people identify with you. That's the reason why you need to talk to the speakers. That's the reason why we do testimonies. The key of the business presentations is that people say, me too, I can do it. It doesn't make any difference if you do a great presentation, but you don't have any testimonies, or you don't talk about you. One of the things I normally tell people, and we have an advantage, Pastor and I, because he used to be an employee. So there's got a lot of people that say, oh, I was an employee too. I used to be a businesswoman. So a lot of people identify with being a businesswoman. But you know, one of the questions I normally ask the people is, you're working for somebody? They say, yes. I just want you to imagine one thing. In 4 months, the job you have, you lose it? How many more months are you going to be able to live the same life that you have now? Everybody can identify with that, right? So they can think, well, I need to have a plan B. I need to have something that I can work for that in the future can give me the style of life that I want. People are looking for security. You need to tell people how you were invited. Everybody has been invited the same way, right? Somebody called them up and said, well, come to look at an opportunity. They haven't said anything. So say that. I was here for the first time. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand anything, but I was looking for something. How many people say they're looking for something? How many people say, well, the month was too long, but the money wasn't good enough? Or I had my own business and I lost the business. Or I'm looking for an opportunity. I'm an immigrant. I just left my family, left everything. I came here to this country. I'm looking for a dream. How many people can identify with that? You need to talk to people on the me too. I'm the same way. I'm also looking for this. I'm also looking for a possibility in life. Because what you say has nothing to do with how they feel about it, okay? And let me say why. Because the first impression, okay, is very simple. People look at your face, your gestures, your clothes. That's 53% of how you express yourself. It's not the words. You see that? 38 is the way you talk, your excitement. If you're sure about what you're doing, only 7% is what you're saying. I see people doing presentations and explaining all the promotions, all the bonus, all the points. That is not the point. You need to transmit the people what they can get out of this. How can they feel about it? How can they dream about it? But not the numbers. The numbers don't motivate anybody. Let me ask you a question. If you are in love with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend and you want to marry them, for example, do you go ahead and say, well, listen, I want to know exactly what your bank account is. I want to know your mom, if it's a woman, right? Because I want to know how you're going to look like in 50 years, okay? Or are you going to say just, I'm in love with you, I just feel like marrying you. It's the emotions what people make people take decisions, okay? Not the numbers. So what we need to do is transmit emotions, okay? So
now, in your audience or the person, even if it's a PBR or one-to-one or whatever, but you'll have 3 types of people. There would be some people who need the money today, which means there's a lot of unemployment and a lot of people are suffering, so they need the money today. Then you'll have some of the people where, I don't know if in the rest of the countries, but in Spain, it seems the month is longer than the salary. Is that true? And After the 20th of the month, you're trying to stretch and stretch and stretch, and it doesn't come through. So there might be people who want the money, some extra money to fill those 10 days. And then you will have the people who see an opportunity and they will go for it. You should be very careful in satisfying all of those people. If you're the speaker and you're doing the presentation, you should offer the opportunity for the person who needs the money today. You know, we have the video phones. Fantastic. We get the money immediately. We have energy in Holland. We get the opportunity immediately. So you offer the opportunity for the people who need the money today. Then you offer the money to the people, medium term, the people who want to have it to fill in the month. And then you will have some of them who will have it for a long time.
Okay, let me go through the presentation. And this is how a presentation goes. It starts with interest and excitement. The presentation needs to be short, okay? You cannot do presentations for an hour and a half. The attention of the people is 45 minutes maximum, okay? So you start with this. You start with the interest and excitement, and it has to go up, and it has directly to do with the time. If there's more time, people lose the excitement. They lose the interest. They cannot be paying attention. So the first thing to create the excitement, as I was saying before, is the identification. If people don't buy you, they won't listen to what you say. If you don't make people feel good, they won't listen to what you're explaining. So the most important thing is the first part. How are people going to say, I'm like her, or I'm like him, or I want to do this too, or I'm looking for an opportunity, or I want to have more time, or I want to travel, or I want to have a house, or I want to share this with people. I feel good, okay, about this. The second thing we're going to talk about is the company. Obviously, what do you need to talk about the company? We need to talk about a company that's stable, a company that's going to give us security. What are people looking for? They're looking for something stable for the whole life. So we're going to talk about the 17 years. We're going to talk about the 21 countries. We're going to talk about the future. So we need to emphasize on why this company is going to give us what's going to make us feel good. Stability. A home, okay?
Now then, we got to explain the product. Our star product is video phone. And then you tell the people, because you will see it's something which everybody uses. And then it is easy that people see that it is needed by everybody. But now the video phone is something which is extraordinary. It's the new technology, and people will identify with the emotion. I'll tell you a small story. When the video phone came out, it was very funny, because I sent a video phone to Pakistan to my brother, and I had one at home in Madrid. So Miriam came to know my brother on the video phone the first day. Miriam knows my brother and say, hello, hi, how are you? Very nice. And I said, where are the kids? He's got kids of 8 and 10 years. So the second day, the kids come on the video phone to see their aunt. And they go like, ah. Now the kid goes out in the street. That's the funny part, I was told. He goes out in the street, and he goes and tells his friend, my uncle in Spain has a white woman. Now in Pakistan, that's different. And the people went. His friend goes, how do you know that? He says, I saw it on the telephone. Now we're living in a world where a lot of things we know, but you got to know Pakistan. I mean, the kid goes, that's impossible. He goes home, he says, Mom, my friend told me his uncle has a white woman and he saw it on the phone. And the mother goes, this kid is teaching my son to lie. She gets ready, goes to my brother's house and say, told my sister-in-law, your son is teaching my son to lie. He says, how's that? She says, he says, your brother-in-law has a white woman and he saw on the telephone. He says, yeah, that's true. Here's the video phone. She looks like that. She goes in. She says, if you want to know, you come tomorrow because he's going to be calling us because there's a time lag, so we've got a time to see each other. Now, what do the women in the villages do? Talk. So the next 24 hours, she went out telling everyone, the neighbor's brother married a white woman and we can see it on the telephone. Now everybody goes like, really? Yeah, she said, come over. Now the third day when we called, and my brother goes, look what you've created, talk to them. The whole village was there. We have a very strong product. Then now people want to know, what do they have in for them? What are they going to make? Tell them the compensation plan. Tell them the compensation plan, short term, medium term, and long term. But you have to keep in mind that our residual income is the important thing. People want to know, how do we make money? So talk about the customers. It's not only a question of you get two people, they do. No. You add up.